Before the hug even fully happens, something important has already been decided inside him. When a man truly wants someone, the way he initiates physical closeness is not casual, it's intentional, even if he isn't consciously aware of it. This is where real attraction quietly exposes itself. A genuine hug begins with a shift in presence. His body doesn't rush in or stay detached, it arrives with purpose. There's a moment of grounding, a subtle pause, as if he's checking in with the moment before closing the space between you. Psychologically, this matters because touch is one of the most revealing forms of communication we have. We guard it carefully. When a man doesn't feel emotionally invested, his hugs tend to be quick, polite, or socially automatic. They fulfill an expectation, not a desire. But when the hug is real, his body commits fully. His arms wrap with certainty, not hesitation. His torso aligns with yours. His weight settles rather than hovering. This isn't about strength, it's about sincerity. What's striking is that this kind of hug often feels different immediately. It doesn't feel rushed or performative. There's a sense that he's present in it, not thinking ahead to the next moment. That presence signals emotional engagement. His nervous system has shifted from casual interaction to connection. He's no longer simply acknowledging you, he's experiencing you. From a philosophical perspective, this speaks to how humans express care without words. When someone matters, we don't skim past physical closeness, we inhabit it. A real hug reflects prioritization. In that moment, nothing else competes for his attention. His body language says, "I'm here," before his mind even catches up. And that alignment between body, attention, and emotion is impossible to fake consistently. This is also where many people misread signals. They assume any physical closeness means attraction, but physical contact without intention feels hollow. You can sense when someone is halfway in, when their arms are loose, when their body remains angled away, when the hug ends almost before it begins. Those hugs communicate politeness or habit, not desire. A real hug, by contrast, has density. It feels anchored. Understanding this helps you stop second-guessing yourself. You begin to trust what your body registers instead of overanalyzing later behavior. You recognize that attraction shows up in how someone enters closeness, not just how often they do. And that awareness changes how you evaluate connection. You stop settling for gestures that are technically affectionate but emotionally empty. There's also something empowering here. When you recognize the difference between a hug that's automatic and one that's intentional, you stop trying to earn closeness. You realize that when it's real, it arrives naturally. It doesn't require chasing, convincing, or over-explaining. His body already knows what his heart is feeling. Because when a man hugs you in a way that feels grounded, present, and certain, he's not just touching you, he's choosing you in that moment. And the more you learn to recognize that choice, the more you align yourself with connections that are honest, mutual, and real. A hug that's real doesn't leave you confused, it leaves you clear. After the first instinctive shift that happens when a man wants you, the next place the truth shows up is in how he holds you. A hug may seem simple, even casual, but when it's real, it carries layers of meaning that words rarely reach. Men don't hug the same way when they're emotionally invested. Something changes, not dramatically, but unmistakably. Psychologically, touch is one of the most honest forms of communication we have. When a man hugs someone he feels neutral about, the contact is brief, polite, and controlled. But when his feelings are real, the hug becomes slower and more deliberate. There's less rush to pull away. His arms don't just touch, they settle. And that settling is important. It signals comfort, safety, and emotional presence. You'll often notice that his body relaxes into the hug instead of remaining stiff or performative. His shoulders soften, his breathing deepens. This happens because attraction reduces defensiveness. When someone matters, the body no longer needs to protect itself. It wants to connect. That's why a real hug feels grounding rather than awkward. It feels like he's arrived, not like he's checking a box. From a psychological standpoint, this is about containment. When a man wants a woman, his hug becomes enclosing rather than distant, not possessive, not forceful, but intentional. He holds you in a way that says, "Stay here for a moment." This isn't about control, it's about closeness. He's allowing himself to linger in the connection, which means he's emotionally present enough to feel it. Philosophically, this reveals something deeper about intimacy. Real attraction isn't just excitement, it's stillness. It's the ability to pause with someone without needing to escape the moment. When a man hugs you and doesn't immediately disengage, he's signaling that being close to you feels safe, meaningful, and worthwhile. That's not casual energy. That's emotional investment. Many people misread this because they focus on duration alone. But it's not just how long the hug lasts, it's how it lasts. A real hug doesn't feel rushed or distracted. His attention doesn't drift. His body doesn't stay tense. There's a subtle synchronization that happens where your breathing aligns, your posture settles, and the world briefly fades. That alignment can't be faked. This is also why forced affection feels hollow. Someone can hug you tightly without wanting you, but they can't relax into a hug they don't emotionally mean. The body always tells the truth. When a man wants you, his hug carries warmth, steadiness, and intention. It feels like presence, not performance. Understanding this shifts how you interpret physical closeness. You stop questioning whether touch means something and start noticing how it's given. You begin to trust your experience instead of dismissing it. And that trust matters because your body often recognizes sincerity before your mind catches up. So the next time a hug lingers just long enough to feel grounding, notice it, not to romanticize it, not to chase it, but to respect the information it carries. Because when a man holds you in a way that feels calm, intentional, and hard to let go of, that's not habit. That's emotion finding its way through touch. When a man hugs you and his body fully aligns with yours, that moment carries far more meaning than most people realize. This isn't about arms wrapping politely or a brief touch meant to signal friendliness. This is about what happens when his chest meets yours, when there's no awkward gap, no sideways angle, no attempt to keep emotional or physical distance. Real attraction doesn't hover at the edges, it moves in close. Psychologically, body alignment is one of the clearest indicators of emotional intent. When someone feels safe, drawn in, and emotionally open, their body mirrors that openness. A man who truly wants you doesn't brace himself during a hug. He relaxes into it. His torso faces you directly. His weight settles. His body communicates comfort rather than caution. That alignment isn't accidental. It's the body's way of saying, I'm here and I'm not pulling away. What's important to understand is that people instinctively protect space when there's emotional uncertainty. If a man is unsure, guarded, or disconnected, his body will angle away, even if his arms still come around you. But when attraction is real, those defenses soften. His body moves toward yours naturally, without calculation. He doesn't just hug you, he meets you. From a deeper, almost philosophical perspective, alignment reflects congruence. When what someone feels internally matches what they're willing to express externally, the body follows suit. There's no conflict between desire and restraint. In that moment, his emotions and actions are in agreement. And that harmony is rare. It's also incredibly revealing. You may notice how different this kind of hug feels. There's a sense of grounding, of steadiness. You don't feel rushed or unsettled. Instead, the hug feels complete, intentional, and contained. That's because when a man truly wants you, he isn't halfway in. He's present. His body doesn't treat the hug as a form. It treats it as connection. This is where many people misread signals. They assume any physical closeness means attraction, but proximity without alignment is often just habit or politeness. Alignment is different. Alignment requires willingness, it requires emotional openness, and it reveals where someone truly stands, even when they're not ready to say it out loud. Understanding this changes how you evaluate intimacy. You stop asking, did he hug me? And start asking, how did he show up in that moment? Was his body relaxed or tense? Did he lean in or hover? Did the hug feel mutual or one-sided? These questions matter because the body rarely lies. There's also something empowering about recognizing this. You no longer have to guess or hope. You can observe. You can trust what feels grounded and dismiss what feels disconnected. Attraction that is real doesn't leave you confused. It leaves you calm, because when a man's body fully aligns with yours in a hug, he's not just holding you, he's choosing closeness. And the moment you learn to recognize that choice, you stop accepting half-hearted connection and start honoring what genuine presence feels like after the initial contact and the intention behind it. The fourth place a real hug reveals itself is in how long he stays. Duration matters far more than people realize. When a man truly wants you, the hug doesn't rush toward an ending. It lingers just long enough to step outside social habit and into emotional truth. Psychologically, time is one of the clearest indicators of value. We spend more time on what matters, and we escape quickly from what doesn't. A quick, clipped hug is easy. It's safe, polite, and emotionally neutral. But when a man holds a hug a little longer than necessary, something else is happening. His body is resisting the urge to disengage. He's not just greeting you, he's staying with you. What's important here is that this isn't an exaggerated, awkward pause. It's subtle, a second longer than expected, a moment where neither of you immediately pulls away. That extra beat is where emotion leaks through. His nervous system is regulating itself through closeness. Touch, when it's wanted, calms and grounds us. If he's lingering, it's because being close to you feels good, and he's not in a hurry to lose that feeling. From a philosophical standpoint, lingering is a form of choice. He is choosing presence over performance. He's not thinking about how the hug looks. He's responding to how it feels. And feelings, unlike manners, don't operate on a schedule. When attraction is real, time compresses. A few seconds feel meaningful. Letting go feels premature. This is especially revealing in men who are otherwise controlled or emotionally guarded. A man may regulate his words, his expressions, even his body language, but duration is harder to fake. You can initiate a hug out of politeness, but you can't convincingly linger without emotional involvement. Staying requires desire. Many people misinterpret this moment because they're taught to downplay it. They tell themselves, it was nothing, or I'm reading too much into it. But the body doesn't lie casually. If he wanted distance, he would have taken it. If he wanted neutrality, he would have exited cleanly. Lingering means he's allowing intimacy to exist, even briefly. There's also an important distinction here between comfort and connection. A man who hugs everyone easily may still release quickly. A man who hugs you and stays is communicating something personal. He's not just comfortable with you, he's connected to you in that moment, and connection always slows us down. This awareness changes how you interpret physical closeness. You stop asking whether a hug happened and start noticing how. I tended. Who was the first to pull away? Was there hesitation? Was there stillness before release? These details matter because they reveal emotional gravity. And here's the empowering part. You don't have to react or chase meaning. You simply observe. Let the moment be what it is. Real attraction doesn't need to be forced into clarity. It reveals itself through consistency. Because when a man doesn't want to let go right away, that pause is not accidental. It's his body saying what his words haven't yet caught up to. And the moment you learn to trust that lingering second, you stop questioning whether something is real and start recognizing when it already is. When a man truly wants you, The hug is never casual, and the reason has very little to do with romance and everything to do with psychology. A genuine hug carries intention, and intention changes how the body behaves. This is where you start to see what he can't fake. When the hug is real, his body doesn't just touch yours. It settles into the moment. Psychologically, a meaningful hug requires emotional safety. People don't linger in physical closeness unless they feel grounded there. When a man hugs you and stays just a second longer than necessary, it's not accidental. His nervous system has relaxed enough to remain. That pause is powerful because it shows comfort, desire, and trust all at once. He isn't rushing back into distance. He's allowing closeness to exist. You'll often notice that his arms feel firm but not rigid. There's a sense of containment, not restraint. This balance matters. A man who doesn't care hugs loosely or briefly, creating space even in contact. But when it's real, his body communicates, "I'm here." The pressure is steady. The embrace feels grounded. It's not about possession. It's about connection. From a philosophical perspective, closeness reveals priorities. We don't stay resent in moments that don't matter to us. A real hug pulls someone into the now. There's no distraction, no hurry, no performance. He's not hugging you to make a point or send a message. He's hugging you because being close feels right. That authenticity is impossible to manufacture consistently. What's especially revealing is what happens after the hug begins. Does he pull away quickly, or does his body naturally resist separation? Real attraction creates a subtle reluctance to let go. Not in a dramatic way, but in the way fingers loosen slowly, shoulders linger, or his breath settles instead of tightening. These are unconscious responses to emotional significance. Many people misunderstand this and focus only on initiation. They think the hug itself is the signal. But the truth is, it's the ending that tells you everything. When a hug ends too cleanly, too efficiently, it often means the moment was functional. When it dissolves gradually, it means the moment mattered. The body doesn't rush away from what it values. Understanding this helps you stop romanticizing surface-level affection. Not every hug is intimacy. Some are polite, some are habitual, some are comforting without desire. But the hug that lingers, that grounds, that feels calm rather than rushed, that's different. That's the body choosing closeness without being asked. This awareness also shifts how you show up. You stop chasing reassurance and start observing reality. You don't need to ask what someone feels when their body is already answering for them. And you don't need to cling to moments that feel empty when you've experienced ones that feel full. Because when a man doesn't want to let go, even just for a moment, it's not confusion, it's clarity. And the more you learn to trust the moments where someone's body stays, the less time you'll spend holding on to the ones who are already halfway go. Now, after everything you've noticed, the way he approaches you, the way his arms wrap around you, the length of the embrace, the pressure, the stillness, this final detail tells you the most about whether the hug is real. It's what happens after. When a man doesn't want much from a moment, he exits it quickly. When he does want something, when the connection matters, he lingers emotionally, even once the hug has technically ended. Psychologically, this is about attachment and regulation. A hug releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. When a man feels that release with someone he truly wants, his nervous system doesn't rush to disengage. You'll notice it in the pause before he lets go. The way his hands remain for a second longer than necessary, or how he doesn't immediately pull his attention elsewhere. His body wants to stay in the moment because the moment feels grounding. This is where the difference between affection and attraction becomes clear. Friendly hugs end cleanly. They're complete, efficient, and immediately followed by movement, stepping back, turning away, shifting energy. But a hug that's real creates hesitation, not confusion, but reluctance. He doesn't quite want to break the connection yet, and that reluctance is deeply revealing. Philosophically, this speaks to how we experience meaning. We linger where something matters. We don't rush away from moments that feel emotionally nourishing. When a man wants you, the hug doesn't feel like a checkpoint. It feels like a destination. Even after his arms release, his presence remains. He stays facing you. He maintains eye contact. He doesn't mentally leave the interaction. You might also notice that after a meaningful hug, his behavior shifts. He becomes calmer, more focused, more present. That's not accidental. Physical closeness with someone he desires regulates him emotionally. It grounds him. And when so, meeting grounds us. We're naturally drawn to it again. This is why men often feel more connected after physical closeness when it's real, not less. Many people misread this moment because they focus only on the hug itself, but the exit tells you more than the entry. Does he immediately step back into distraction, or does he stay with you for a beat longer than expected? Does he create space quickly, or does the space feel slow and intentional? That difference is everything. Understanding this protects you from confusion. You stop asking whether a hug meant something and start observing whether the connection continues once the arms release. Attraction doesn't vanish when contact ends, it carries forward. It shows up in attention, presence, and emotional continuity. And there's an important lesson here for you as well. When you feel that lingering presence, don't rush past it. Don't fill the space with nervous chatter or step away too quickly. Let the moment breathe. Real connection deepens in those quiet seconds where neither person is performing, because a hug that's real doesn't end abruptly. It softens into presence. And when a man remains emotionally engaged after the physical closeness has passed, that's not habit or politeness. That's attachment forming in real time. The truth is simple. When a hug is just a hug, it ends cleanly. When it's real, it echoes.